Up next is panel discussion, which is about strengthening present capacity and infrastructure to visualize the future. Build today to see tomorrow. And for the same, I would like to introduce the moderator. Mr. Ajay Singh is a seasoned supply chain transformational leader with 30 plus years experience. Currently Vice President at Hindustan Platinum Private Limited, he excels in optimizing processes across industries like heavy industries, electronics and telecom, earning him prestigious accolades. I would request Mr. Ajay Singh, Vice President, Supply Chain Management at Hindustan Platinum, to join on the stage for moderating the panel. I would request the following panelists to join us on the stage. Mr. Praveen Kumar, Head SCM Logistics from Jindal Stainless Group, chain from Reliance Industries Limited. Mr. Sandip, Head of Supply Chain Management at Tata Steel. Mr. Swapnil Shelar, Global Commercial Operations and Demand Planning Lead at UPL. Mr. Amol Prasadi, Head SCM and Procurement at Metro Brands Limited. Mr. Anupam Shrotary, Head Supply Chain and Operations South Asia and Thailand, Kimberly Clark Professionals. And Mr. Satish Saravade, Head Supply Chain Operations from Novozymes, India.
I think being the last session and we have a large panel, I think this is the largest panel I think in the end of the day. And with the very esteemed speakers, panelists I have today, I think group of experts, experienced people, and we'll be talking more on the how we can strengthen the present infrastructure and how to build tomorrow for the same, right? So this is the topic what we have to discuss. We have seen from the morning a lot of discussions happening about the infrastructure. There was a slides being presented from VTrans about where we are on the various networks being there within for the road transportation within India. And so we'll be covering certain topics of the expertise all the panelists have about their own area of their organizations. So we'll be talking more on the how they adopt transportation, logistics and the whole supply chain network currently we have and how we can go further to strengthen in the particular areas. We'll be talking about little bit on the digital also, if in the interest of the how to linking the digital platforms being there on the infrastructure network. We'll also we'll look into that centralized whether it will be like outsourcing, insourcing, and other factors will be there. So before I go to the my fellow panelists, I'll just wanted to share some details of it, that how the current infrastructure in the country is being looked into in from all the angles. And we know that okay, a lot of logistics infrastructure backbone of the system is being developed, but still we have a lot to go. And I think what I have seen in today's slide from VTrans that we are at 42nd place in the LPI index. I think what 44. And the target, I think what discussion happening between the ministries and the people in the trade that we should be coming close to 25 by 2030. That is what I have been various forums I have been hearing about it. And there are a lot of I think easing out of from the national logistic policy which is coming into place, and let us see how it will be really changing the role of the infrastructure, because our dependency is still more on the road transports, right? Because of the nature of the country and all this thing, which is we need to look into how we can transform that 13-14% of the logistics cost we are talking about. That is a question mark point. To 78% of the logistic cost, we are aiming for that. So there are a lot of things to go on that. To start with this discussion, I'll start with Mr. Pradeep Tewari. That what are the challenges currently we have, and how you are looking into the infrastructure to be addressed and can be a future proof on that.
Thanks, Anil. To answer this question, let me first talk about the background. So if we see today, India is growing very fast, even number one in the world. So fast means like a growth is a 6.2 or 6.3% of the economy, which means what? There are lot of growth is there, and growth requires infrastructure. And if the country is growing, then we can see companies are also growing. And if we see share market, it is booming. Why it is booming? Because every company is making profit and they are planning for the expansions. And if each company is talking about the expansion, so whether we have an infrastructure or not, that we need to understand. And where we need to focus, what we need to focus, and how to proceed. Government is doing a lot of things. It is a road infrastructure is very well visible. But as far as when it comes to the private infrastructure, means like individual warehouses and trucking and railways and coastal containers, etc. So we are not ready for that, or we are ready with considering the past, because hardly we are investing for the future. So if suppose we have to expand our area, then we can see there are 3 places or 4 places where we should focus on. One is a digital infrastructure or IT infrastructure, because so large expansion you can't sustain without the IT or digital. Then second is a physical infrastructure in form of warehouses, in form of stores, in form of automation of the warehouses. And third is like moving assets, whether it is a truck or it is a container, shipping, railways, rail containers, etc. So if we see today, if we talk about the digital infrastructure, we have a lot to do. But simultaneously, for a logistics area or a supply chain area, this is a last area in every company. Because if we are expanding, then we are expanding in machinery, plant, etc. And when it comes to logistics, then we give a simple warehouse to the logistics. And suppose your requirement is a 10-day storage, then it is reduced to 7 days for the cost and working capital point of view. But simultaneously, the whole world is also volatile. Sometimes Red Sea comes, sometimes Ukraine war comes, sometimes another Corona comes, which means what? Which means like your production will continue, but you have to keep the inventory at your locations or outside the locations. Then the infrastructure shortage you can see visibly. And recently we had to take like I say 5 to 10,000 containers from other country to India for a new our setups. Then we found the infrastructure like FR containers, those are hardly available. Then we created a separate infrastructure. We sent empty vessels for that, empty containers in the vessel. So if you see the kind of growth is going on, government is doing a lot, and we are also doing, but the compliant infrastructure availability is not that much. So we have to think individual company, like, okay, how for the future, like we are planning for the growth, so we should also plan for the infrastructure, physical infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and rolling asset. And if the things are not there, then how we can use the common infrastructure where the service provider role comes, and whether they are creating that kind of infrastructure, what we are means what the speed we are growing. So I think we need to address these issues individually. Every company is addressing, and I think like in a very short time, as we are moving very fast, we will be able to fulfill our requirement. Like presently we are managing with the whatever infrastructure is there or whatever resources we have, but we need to have a planned infrastructure in place. So this I want to say with respect to the current status of the infrastructure and what we need for the future.
Thanks, Pradeep ji. I think that the two very vital point you have highlighted is the one is what I see is the coastal network, whether we are really putting those effort to utilize the coastal network, and then another one is the common infrastructure. I think very vital. If time permits, I'll come back to you on this topic, two topics, to I think for our larger audience to understand the things. Now I'll go to Amol. Amol, you are from I think FMCG sector, and really it is how you see that current infrastructure, how you assess it at the point of view from your industry point of view, and where are the area of improvement you see?
Thanks, Ajay. So generally, if I see the supply chain industry has come a long way. We all have been in the industry for at a decade plus, and we have seen the transformation in front of our eyes. What was Bhiwandi or any of the warehousing hubs of India 10, 15 years back, we never had a proper grade A facility or the proper logistics parks. We are operating out of godowns. But, and we see a transformation happening, whether it's by push or by a requirement, but it's happening. And it's a very positive sign what I'm seeing. Secondly, I'll focus more on capacity and infrastructure on the organizational level, because we come from a very fast industry. I belong to the retail industry where every week a new design comes. Every season there's an entire new range coming. We launch SKUs like babies getting born in India. Okay, so the variety of new SKUs getting launched in the retail segment is unimaginable. And the reason behind it, if you see, you as a customer, if you see, every day or every time you go to shop, what do you want? You're looking for something different, isn't it? You don't want to buy the same stuff. Okay, everybody wants that this time I'm going to some shop or some mall or anywhere, I'm looking for a new design, new color or something new. And that's what is happening in the industry. Companies are being forced to launch newer products just to make sure the customer walks in to their website or the store. And that is putting tremendous pressure just not on the business side but on the supply chain side. Means the amount of new SKUs, the new designs or the different pack sizes, what are getting launched is huge. So how we align to that thing? So when it comes to the capacity management, to the infrastructure management, and for so many long years, I've been always hearing everybody from the business side ask, what's your warehouse capacity? Okay, what's the throughput that you can handle? Okay, so generally when it comes to the capacity, is not a rocket science. We know we have a standard number of people working, we have a standard number of machines working, number of terminals packaging, number of docks what we have, and we have an mathematics where we calculate this is my capacity or something. But more often, we would generally focus on the 4 basic KPIs. Means I have always stressing that these 4 basic KPIs, if you follow that, your unloading to put away with GRN has to be in 24 hours. Your order processing to out has to be in 24 hours. Okay, or your vehicle unloading, whenever a vehicle reports to your warehouse, are you able to unload that vehicle in 30 minutes? Right. Okay, so these are all these 3 to 4 basic KPIs. If you just augment or work on that, you will see exponential growth in your capacity. Secondly, when I say infrastructure is not just having good machines or good flooring or automation, definitely is required, but also what is the work environment you're giving to your people working there? Are they happy? Means I have seen the current age people, the pickers, packers, which we are recruiting. First they come and see the warehouse. Okay, is the warehouse good? Is it accessible? Are you providing good transportation? How is the work environment? Do you have a right pantry at the warehouse? Okay, because if you don't have that basic infra at your warehouse or your hub, you are not going to get good people at your place to work. So it is very important from infrastructure point of view to create that environment within your hub or within your facility wherein you will get good talent who wants to come and work. Okay, even creating a small gym or a small cricket pitch works wonders. Okay, means you'll have people, means I've seen a lot of warehouses where they have put music, anybody come and play their own music when people are feeling fatigued. Okay, that can happen. So coming back on the capacity infrastructure, yes, capacity improvement is must for us, including infrastructure what we are providing at the warehouse. And there are numerous things across companies people are doing. And as you said, on the government side also, for fairly a decade, I think the number has stagnated between 35 to 45. There's no major improvement. Means I have been tracking the World Bank Index for a long time, and I think there's a long way to go in that field. Thank you.
Thanks, Amol. I think the good perspective you have put in, how the built up the capacity, right? How the things are changing. Perspective of like warehousing. If you see how the mother warehouses are being transforming across India, the way right from the godowns to now the warehouse space, which we are looking into it. Now moving from it, I think that I will go to Mr. Sandip. We spoke about this physical infrastructure and future readiness. Little bit, let's discuss about the technological aspect out of it, right? How in the infrastructure, how to strengthen the present capacity of the infrastructure, considering the technological part of it. How you see it?
Thanks, Ajay. I think we are almost more than 100 years company and heavy industries. So, when we talk about technology, actually, unless until anyone, it's a buzzword for last 15-20 years, technology has to be there, otherwise you can't do business, etc. So everybody buy that idea. But the thing is that I will only talk about, because it's a classic example of our company being such an old company and how to adapt the new technologies to run the business and to grow the business. So, as you know, we have in India, at least we have also last 10 years we have done a lot of two greenfield and many brownfield projects. There's a lot of acquisitions has been done by Tata Steel. So if you see if I talk about the entire supply chain part, so one idea is that when you take a greenfield project, then you know that what are the infrastructure you are going to build upon this, and then you accordingly decide your technology, what technology you should adopt. But when you acquire brownfield projects and you know that company or that organization, that setup is working with that local infrastructures, then suddenly you can't just take it out the entire thing and you say, no, this is the one I recommended, it has to work. And that's not the way, either it will be beneficial for the company or it will be a adaptable one. So normally what we do because any organization or any company we have acquired, everybody has some systems or other, some technology is there. So first of all, a lot of nuances are there for the local. Like in Orissa, there are 3 companies like Bhushan Steel, as you are aware that Astral Bhushan, we occupied 3 factories. One is a bigger one is at Orissa, one is Khopoli, one is Sai Baba. So everywhere there is something or other is there, and local dynamics are there for the logistics part. So if you want to say, no, we are the very known company, Tata Steel, we know everything, and all this, you all has to fall in place the way we work, it doesn't work out in that way. So what we have done that, as far as the technology is concerned, we first see that the way they are running, let them do it. Although we have a master plan that how the technology will help us to synergy all these companies we are acquiring, or we are having various units all across India. So that is a master plan is there, but the phased manner you have to go. Like you are saying that in the logistics part, every customers today, as you know that you just name it in automobile industry, the entire infrastructure, entire retail, entire general engineering, everywhere we are there. I'm the user side. So every customers of these various segments have their various requirements. So today, like someone has said, if the vehicle has come for unloading or loading, it is an expectation of the transporters as well as for the customer side that it should be done in 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or whatever. So to capture all those requirements through technology, and how you are able to justify this, like the material is traveling from, let's say, Jamshedpur to Delhi, or a remote locations of, now we are seeing a lot of metros going over there, the bullet trains, even Gujarat remote areas, these things are going on. And all these, some of my friends of L&T must be there, they have sites like, I mean, you don't have a roads to reach to those places. But the customer's expectation is that if the entire tracking has to be there, and when it reaches to the place, the tracking will be there. Now we all know that GPS is there. But there is also a technology attached with that has to be geofenced. Then only you can know that this vehicle has reached there. So expectations are enormous. So how do you capture it, and how do we amalgamate it to meet the customer expectation? That's the catch. So I think most of the companies are doing it. Way forward, I can just give you one example. I think Tata player, someone has raised, you must be knowing. We are also gradually, one is within Tata Steel. Second is also Tata is going forward to synergy across all the, let's say 10, 12 listed companies and some 16, 18 non-listed companies. How do we synergize all? So we started 2 years back something called OTAN, we call it in our parlance, one Tata, one network. So few of the processes and the systems which is available to all these group companies, how do we can explore the entire network for some of the services to get benefit out of it. And that is only possible with, because every group companies have their own technology. Then you have to merge them all to fit into, to get your common goal. So I think this field is vast, and technology definitely has solutions. A lot of sponsors are in these seminars, we see they come out with solutions. But I can only say that, it has to be a blend of standardization versus customization. It just can't be a standardization one. Otherwise, the business can't, it has to fit into your business, your requirements.
Thanks, Sandip ji. I think beautifully you have put it, the words like how you can, whether it is standardization or customization is the balance what we need to look into it. Going next till, I think I'll come back to you, Swapnil, that we are talking a lot on this infrastructure changes, which is really a paradigm shift, right? For any change management, it's a completely change management what we have to look into, the infrastructure changes. So how you see it, this supply chain infrastructure in your organization, your point of view, it is like whether it should be a flexible and adaptable to the future needs. How you see it?
So my take on this is like, see, building resilient supply chain is now beyond the business continuity. Why it is? Because we have a customer trust, and most importantly, your brand reputation. If you are if the company is the top brand, known brand, so brand reputations, because people recall your product by brand. So service is equally important. Situations like COVID or geopolitical tensions like, war situation is really challenging and impacting our supply chain's resilience. So building infrastructure is the really critical piece to be future-ready supply chains. Otherwise, that supply chain agility we will miss, because currently competition is so high, like my friend said, the dynamics and the change of demand or the taste of the customer is changing so fast. In AgChem, our business is completely depend on the weather, and no one can predict the weather. Whatever geo or AI you put, I'm damn sure AI cannot predict the weather more than 30 or 40%, because we have tried and tested it in our forecasting as well. So building infrastructure like telecommunication, manufacturing setup, warehousing will give us the upper edge and create the agility in the supply chain. It will also help us to reduce the cost of goods manufacturing, and that will give us the edge in the competition. So for us is like the company, like we are a highly season dependent company. Key strategies are most important is the forecasting. So if we want to stay ahead of the curve, demand creation is the critical piece. And if we predict a right demand, we will be ahead of the curve. Second is the cost optimization. AgChem industry, entire chemical industry currently is struggling with, the stress on the cost and margins. Because last COVID 2 years, China have added so much capacities. There is a huge gap between demands and supply. COVID 2 years, all the AgChem industries, all the logistic industries enjoy a lot of benefits, and you see the EBITDAs and profitability gone on the roof of all the companies. But now the situation is completely 360 degree. The prices has gone almost 40% down because of we have huge demand, huge supply, but there is no demand in the market. So how we will manage? So cost optimization is again one of the critical piece. Agility. Since morning, I think we heard this word number of time. What is agility? Agility is nothing but, for me, it is switching on and switching off. My manufacturing setup should be capable to adopt those market changes in line with the customer demand. If I does that, I think I'll win the race. Fourth important is like creating buffer into the system. So creating right inventory buffer in the channel. So I think one of the latest concepts which is very famous is DDMRPs, which is demand-driven replenishment planning. So build a buffer. So like central warehousing concept is very important in this, to make support. So like earlier we have almost 200 warehouses. Then, the major challenge to cater those 200 warehouses is next is logistics. So this demand-driven requirement. So we have a CNF depots. Those depots we have consolidated at 4 or 5 places, and we are just replenishment demand in those depots, and those depots is catering to my market. So this is very important concept. Next is how we can go closer to the customer, because with this conflict, like we are suffering a lot because of lot of our Europe demand, our Latin America and Brazilian demand got impacted because of this Yemen issues, because all the vessels where transit time was Europe to 20 to 25 days, now the same vessel is taken 55 days. How do I cater the market? Because my season will not wait for me. So these are the challenges we are trying to address through, building the infrastructure, and that way I'm sure that will also help us to, build a resilient supply chain and future-ready supply chain in the future. Thanks.
Thanks, Swapnil. I think you have put in a right perspective about what is the need of the hour for the infrastructure to put in it, not only in the domestically but internationally, how we'll see it from the perspective of all the import-exports being done. The other perspective I'll come to you, Satish, that everybody is agreed about that infrastructure's parlance, that focus has to be there, right? Demand is there, then definitely the focus has to be on the infrastructure. How to balance out your investment, right? How you can balance out your investment in looking into the future, what you require, how to balance out demand plus the what need of the hour or going to be in the future.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very right and appropriate question. Why we need to balance? Because we need to excel today also and tomorrow also. We have to be top of the performance today also and tomorrow also. So there is no exception for tomorrow and today. But things in practically what happens, present things or present demand comes as urgent and important. So what you do with urgent and important? You don't have any option not to do. You meet the urgent and important requirements. But for future requirement, I think conscious, deliberate, pre-planned and focused efforts are required. It will not happen automatically like today's demand. Now, there will be holistic approaches required for supply chain, think out future, and it is obvious today's infrastructure is not sufficient for tomorrow. And especially like country like India, which is fastest growing, fastest economy. So we need to think holistically for future. Now there are another way to balance actually, I can say in a practical word. So we can focus digital infrastructure. You can invest on digital infrastructure and you may outsource physical infrastructure. Digital infrastructure will give our organization upper hand actually, which will be the enhance the customer experience. Ultimately, you are known by your brand, your customer experience. It will give a complete clarity and performance. It will be decision making. So investing in digital for the organization is better. And for physical aspects or physical assets, we can outsource. There are many experts available in the market. If I want to deliver to the customer, I don't buy truck. I go to VTrans. So similarly, there are a lot of things happening now. So there are a lot of aspects of supply chain which we can outsource. So by that, I think because they will have a big mass like supplier customers like me or any other customers, so they will be optimize their flows. So this optimization will make us better supply chain. So I think that is the one way of balancing future and current investment priorities. Thank you.
Thanks, Sen. Praveen, you represent JS, right? Like large disruption you might be seeing in your complete logistics network or infrastructure network, like the high volume, high movement of goods you are seeing it. So how, as organization, how resilient or able to consider this thing that infrastructure is supporting your requirement, considering not only the today's but how it will be in the future?
You rightly said that we at JSL are expanding right now, and we are at 2.2 million ton capacity at Jajpur, and we will be at 4.2 in next 2 years. So the question is very relevant to our organization, that the challenges we are facing at Jajpur to transfer the material from the existing capacity to the 2.5 times in just a 1 or 2 year of span is just pushing up the resources like anything. So starting from as in steel we are more road dominant country, so we have started looking to the railway operations, and from 5,000 per month to right now we are doing 55 to 60,000 per month on a single lane, that is from east to north. That is how we have developed our infrastructure, and that I will not say that only JSL has done this. This is again done with some government policies, with some liaison, and right now as we are a growing economy and the government is playing very vital and critical role because of the freight corridors coming into the picture, and the wagons which are coming into the system as fast as possible. Government is just trying to enforce. That is again giving our kind of players the support that we can now think of doing our capacity double in a year or two. That when we will discuss, we are discussing, and we see last decade when a company starts from 500,000 to 2 million journey in 20 years, that now we can foresee even in 2-3 years. And for that, definitely infrastructure is needed, and more on the above of everything, everybody is talking about the digitalization, because when so much capital, so much material is on wheels, at ports, at terminals, at customer warehouses, at transporter warehouse, then definitely without an agile digitalization system, we cannot survive even. Everything will look like a mess. So in that again, I want to add that we have also digitalized ourselves, and we became the first company to implement TM, that is a SAP module, transportation management in steel sector, and that integration with ULEAP as now, where we can see the real-time authenticity of the vehicles which need to be engaged for transferring our material. That is possible now, because a lot of time wrong vehicle which is injected to your system, that gets detained in transit for 20 days, 30 days. So now not only the vehicle, this system is coming and we are integrating. I'll give you one example, that most critical person in this supply chain is the driver of the vehicle, and we have started considering 5 deliverables of a driver, how he delivers on time, what is his behavior, his speed behaviors, like 4 or 5 deliverables we have mapped. And like Ola and Uber, we have started giving them the ratings, and based on that, our FOR suppliers, our partners, those also are able to get the ratings of the drivers, that which drivers need to be chosen for these critical deliveries and which has to be kept out of the system. So all these kind of things are only possible due to the digitalization. And next thing is, when we talk about the improvement of the system, implementation of new digitalization drives, what we are looking forward to the vendor development as well, because when as a company I am taking a tool and I am implementing that in my supply chain, it's my duty to develop my vendor that he should also feel equally that this tool not only is going to benefit me, this is going to be a win-win situation for both of us, and he should also take interest into using that tool, that this tool will give him the visibility, give him the benefits, give him the more fast capital utilization. So these kind of developments based on the digitalization drives we are able to do.
Good. I think a good perspective we have put in regarding a lot of disruptions, which especially the large players can see it, and how you are taking care of those disruptions. I think, right. Thanks for that. I'll come to you, Anupam. I think we talked about the infrastructure's requirement, necessity. It is a complete shift. We are looking into it. Whether this supply chain infrastructure, what we are talking about, is really aligning with the organizations or vision statement or business strategy of the organizations. What is your take on this?
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. That's really a very interesting question. And so most of my experience has been in FMCG sector. So I'll derive my insights and experience from that sector, which is more into B2C. So today, expectation from supply chain is speed. How fast you can deliver. So that is the question customers and consumers are asking us today. But supply chain knows that before speed, what comes is reliability. We have to be a reliable supply chain before delivering fast. And I will take the audience through a supply chain framework, because supply chain has multiple nodes, and end-to-end supply chain has to build infrastructure and capability to deliver reliable and fast. Starting from the suppliers, so we need to build a strong engagement with the suppliers, and even using information technology for VMI. A lot of pharma companies share 5-year forecast with the suppliers so that they can assess their capacities, their material requirements, their capabilities to service in the times of need. And we have also seen during the COVID that organizations where suppliers were able to deliver, so those organizations were able to sustain the business. And wherever suppliers were not able to deliver, many organizations had a big impact on their business. Coming to manufacturing, so manufacturing excellence systems are a big trend for the tomorrow. Today, manufacturing facilities which has MES, their production scheduler can see the stock availability in the DC, so they can plan accordingly. So that type of one-day agility and response time is being part of the system today in the supply chain. Third is on the delivery part, which includes warehousing and transportation. So if we look at the e-commerce sector, so today the trend is one-day delivery. So in how many locations we can deliver to the end consumer in one day? That is the ask. So more serviceability you have within the one day, more is the demand for your product. And you have to ensure availability of your product. So best in class today is 88% on e-commerce, one-day delivery. But most of the organizations are between 60 to 70% range. So that has been the ask, that how fast we can deliver to the end customer and also with reliability. Now, there are also some levers which we can use to scale up the infrastructure. One is information technology. Because in supply chain, there are multiple bottlenecks. And one job is to identify the bottleneck, where the bottleneck is. If you are taking a lot of time in identifying the bottleneck, then imagine the time to do root cause analysis, taking action, working on the solution. So information technology helps to get the dashboard that where the problem is, so that we can solve it fast. Second is Every organization cannot have a customized infrastructure because facility locations are already defined. They already have a legacy warehouses. So what comes into play is the right business partner. Can we outsource wherever we have the bottleneck in terms of transportation, in terms of warehousing, getting the right service provider with a mix so that we leverage on their expertise to build capability and infrastructure. And last and the most important thing is the right people. Supply chain has a big need of a good talent because it requires multiple skills. Actually, all the skills, leadership, analytical, communication. You need to be good at everything to be in the supply chain because you are answerable to multiple stakeholders all the time. So these are the different things I would say which are required to build a capability infrastructure for supply chain to deliver the business strategy.
Good. Thank you, Anupam. I think the three part which I think a lot of discussion is happening that how to build up a resilient supply chain processes. So I think rightly you said it's required of the three elements. One is the people, very important, then process and the technology. Three aspects is very important for any supply chain resilience to work upon. Pradeep, I'll come to you on this. That okay, you raised the point on the coastal network, and the Reliance is as an organization is a vast network of not only the internationally within country also your presence in, and plus the two questions of it. One is on the coastal part of it, and the second one is on the you touched upon about the common infra. I think that will be the highlight point I wanted to understand from you on these two topics.
See, as far as the coastal is concerned, coastal and rail, both we want to use aggressively. But there are infra issues are there. The first mile and last mile delivery is a very expensive delivery. And the connectivity with the port to other places is a concern area. So what we are shifting, and transit is also a delayed transit, you have 10 days, 15 days transit. So we are moving through coastal, whatever material or whatever goods we want to be stored or stored at the, say, southern part especially we are sending. So that we are sending instead of storage, this is used as a store for 15 days, 10 days. But the cost is a minimal. If we are sending by road, then it is different. And if it is a coastal, then 20% less we can say at the moment, which can be further reduced if we address the first mile and last mile. Similar thing is in the rail infrastructure. Like a large industries who is producing a large consignments or material, they need a rail infrastructure as well. So we have today few private container operators, but those are also if you have an exclusive rake load, then they are going for. So here we need many service providers, or definitely it has to come. Who should collect the 1 container, 10 container, 5 container from the various industries and provide or supply to the destination. This is economical as well as fast both. So 1 or 2 operators are doing, but we need more in this. As far as I talked about the common infrastructure, that is in all areas, like warehousing and rail and road, etc. everything. Warehousing, how it is required, suppose we have a sudden excess production or excess receivable or material which is to be received, then we don't have so much of warehouses available. So if there are common warehouses, there are good warehouses, then we can keep there, and if our material is not there, then somebody else can keep. In the recent time, we have observed that it is compliant warehouses are very limited. Though the numbers are very high across the country, but the compliant warehouse, and today everybody wants a compliant warehouses. So I am sure many people are working on that and it will be done. But today we have compromised and we have gone to food warehouses and ensured that it is a clean and everything. Right. Because we wanted a 10 lakh square feet at one place. So we have managed in that line. So definitely there is a good, like whatever we can say supply was in excess so far. Like people were saying trucks are excess or warehouses are not utilized, underutilized. Now everything will be utilized and we need a more for future. So this is a good opportunity for service providers also. And no company wants to go beyond a point for exclusive infrastructure. So we want a common infrastructure. Exclusive is up to limited level where we can fully utilize that infrastructure. So this is my view on the infrastructure and common infrastructure and coastal.
Correct. So considering the time limit what we have, I think quickly one topic I wanted to cover what Mr. Pradeep has raised about the collaboration of the stakeholders. This is open to any one of us that how to collaborate with the stakeholders for putting up this infrastructure requirement for readiness of the future. I think anyone can take it.
I'm going to give one example. Yeah. Actually, we had a large shipments for Delhi, and what we found there is if we go for a specialized containers or rake, that is a double deck, then it is a very economical for us, and we can send every week one rail to Delhi. But we found nobody was there. Then we picked up one rail service provider. We invested with them. The asset belongs to them, and we developed a dwarf containers. Like because of the electrification in that line, and we want a fast also. So dwarf container we developed. This is a customized by us only, and then we ensured that now that service provider is doing for us also, and they have expanded this dwarf container concept to other industry as well. Mm-hmm. So this is one example where jointly we did development for the for a particular area, and it is an innovative thing which service provider along with us, we invested on that, and we are doing even successfully it is done.
Yeah.
I think he has mentioned about managing with a service provider. Actually, Tata Steel started with Indian Railways. As you know, every day at least minimum 30 odd rakes we require for bringing raw material from the port to the various factories of ours because of the integrated steel plant, and also the rakes are being used to transport the finished goods. So we have tied up for last more than a year that we have deployed almost 19 up till now, maybe a month back, 19 rakes. Tata Steel has invested in rakes, and it has to ply on Indian Railways lines, but the entire infrastructure, the entire rakes is invested by Tata Steel. So similarly, I think other steel companies also started doing it. So I think it's a need of the hour. I mean, if you think, and government is very open to it. Earlier, this concept was not there. Nobody can accept the container organization, CCI, like others can't put up their rakes on there. But now they are open to the users also. I think this way the collaboration has started, and the need is being met.
Anupam, your views?
Yeah, I think with collaboration we can achieve much bigger results than what we can do on our own. I will share one simple example. So we were having a fixed warehouse with fixed space where volume was declining every passing day, but we were paying fixed cost for that warehouse. We explored with some other service partners, and we moved to a flexible warehouse manufacturing facility where they were co-sharing space among various organizations, and there we were able to keep the stock at a variable rate with much lower cost, around 60-70% lower cost, and similar type of service. So I think when we look beyond, we collaborate more, we can get much better results.
Yes, Satish.
I think on collaboration, what I suggest, actually we should not collaborate now, we should work together. That will give a really partnership type of firm, because collaboration again have some limitation. But if you are alongside some good partner, you can work together. I think that will be good for future supply chains. Thank you.
I think the follow-up question with you on this thing is, what will be the risk associated with not having this infrastructure, considering the future requirements? What will be how you see it in this?
Yeah, generally, traditionally in supply chain, investment happens when there is a capacity constraint, and that capacity is limiting your growth and maybe customer service disruption. So then at crisis situation, we come to the crisis situation, then we align those investments actually. So there are two follow-ups clear. So growth and your customer service. So both will impact your top line. And generally what happens when becomes urgent important, you rush ad hoc reactions and we meet those requirements. And in an ad hoc way, so you don't have time. So definitely the way you follow is may not be efficient way of doing that. So it will impact bottom line. So risk is, it impact top line, it bottom line, it's business and growth, everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Swapnil, you wanted to take it about this, one part is missing is on sustainability part of it, because we are missing it. I wanted to cover it, all the topics. So sustainability I think has been touched upon, but I wanted to just touch about the sustainability part, how it will be correlevant to the past infrastructure, what we are looking into it. Is it the role ESG has to play into this?
So if I give our industry example, AgChem industry or all put together the chemical industry, there is a very stringent law. And entire world, especially if you see the European countries, are banning a lot of pesticides. So sustainability, I think it's a very critical topic from AgChem industry standpoint. From our industry, I think we have already taken a target that by 2030 will be a 50% carbon reduction, and by say 2040 will be a 100% carbon neutral company, being a UPL. So basically two things we have taken on the agenda: how to reduce carbon usage in our products. So we are working on the manufacturing process. We are working on the reuse process. So a lot of chemicals or a lot of the insecticide or fungicide what we are making. So out of that, whatever byproducts which are coming, we are working on that, and we are taking out those, and we are making reusable. So achieving those. Second is the water conservation is very critical in our industry. So we are also working on how we will reduce. So again, that is also by say 2030, we have taken the target that we will be completely water positive company, that we are currently not. These are the 2 points in AgChem industry where we are seriously focused on the sustainability side, because one of the goal in UPL is like we are the leader in biosolutions. So we have by say 2050 we will completely move out of our AgChem or pesticide business to the biosolution. That is the aim as of now. Slowly entire Europe and US market, of course Africa, Asia and India market, it will come. It will take time because the technology is not evolved yet, but I think we are on the right track. We are working on the biofertilizer, soil health, nutrition. Sir is already here. He can also give some guidance because he's from the same industry. So it's a really critical topic, and I think coming next 10 to 15 years, this will be the need of ours, because I will give you one of the example in Europe. One of our brand, which is a leading brand, is completely banned in Europe, and that is hits us so badly that our most of the manufacturing setup become idle. So what happened? We have to see what is the backup. So we have UPL is a very visionary company. So fortunately we had a backup. We have converted all our manufacturing site to the new products, and we have already launched the new products, and we have saved. But it is like a company, like a small scales company. It's very difficult, and laws are very stringent in AgChem industry. So sustainability is very critical in chemical sector. That's right.
Quickly, Amol, 10 seconds on this collaboration, because you come from a retail industry. So how collaboration with the stakeholders from your perspective? Quick one.
So collaboration happens across different levels, right from your suppliers to your logistics service providers, and the industry that we work is footwear, and if you see footwear is very small, even say I'll say micro scale. So we have to work together with a lot of small suppliers, try to uplift them, work together. Even there are a lot of cases where the raw material which has to be they don't have the access to the right raw materials. So where we get involved, we pitch in, we buy the raw material from them and provide them. So it's happening at different level, and yes, the collaboration is required, and we have to work together with everyone as he has mentioned. That's from my side. Thank you.
Anything, Naveen, you wanted to put it just 10 seconds because already thrice the bell rang. So
Yeah, on sustainability, just to add more flexible policies from government related to the aggregators when we are going to build a load for the rake, and more CNG less dependency on the direct fuel vehicles. That again, utilization of EV vehicles because of the prices that entirely change the cost expense of the total supply chain. That is all.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think overall perspective, what from the panel discussion is coming up, that real infrastructure requirements are there to look into the future, how we can set up the infrastructure, considering the perspective of every organization, how they behave and work. We have from heavy industry to FMCG to retail and agrochemicals and everyone. And agility and capacity throughputs and everything has been discussed on this. I'll just keep it, if you allow 2 minutes, then if any questions are there, then we can take 1 or 2 questions and then we'll complete this panel discussion.
So up next is networking break. I would request we can cover the questions in networking break because we are running out of time.
Okay, sure.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I think thanks. I think I'll really thank to all the panelists. I think it has been wide range of questions and different field, different aspects have been put in. Really thanks to all of you.